Hey everyone, Ivan here. Today I'm talking about edge computing and why it's becoming the foundation of modern web performance in 2025. I've been researching this technology extensively because it's changing how we build and deploy applications. If you noticed websites and apps feeling much faster this year, edge computing is probably the reason. This isn't just another tech trend. It's just a fundamental shift in how we deliver content and process data that's creating real performance improvements. So, what exactly is edge computing in 2025? Traditional cloud computing centralizes everything in a few massive data centers. Edge computing moves that processing closer to users by spreading it across hundreds of thousands of smaller nodes worldwide. The outcome? Much lower latency. When your code runs just milliseconds away from users instead of across the continent, everything responds almost instantly. What's changed about edge computing in 2025 is that we're not just catching static content at the edge anymore. We're running actual application code, database queries, and even AI processing directly at these edge locations. This matters because users expect immediate responses now. Research shows people abandon websites taking more than 2 seconds to load, and conversion rates fall about 7% for each extra second of loading time. For online store or marketing campaigns, this directly affects your revenue. The edge computing market has narrowed to a few major players that are pushing what's possible forward. Cloudflare Workers continues to be a leader with their JavaScript runtime that runs code across their network. What's notable is how they expanded beyond simple functions to handle complex applications, including database access and streaming data processing. Vercel's edge functions have also made big improvements, especially for React and Next.js developers. Their integration with popular frameworks makes edge deployment nearly invisible to developers. You write your code normally, and Vercel handles distributing it across their global network. For teams already using AWS, Lambda Edge has improved significantly. While it started with more restrictions than competitors, the recent updates and deployment speed and runtime capabilities make it a good option for teams already in the AWS ecosystem. What's impressive is how accessible these platforms have become. You don't need specialized knowledge to deploy to the edge. If you know JavaScript or TypeScript, you can build edge applications. Now, let's check out some actual performance numbers I've been tracking. These aren't marketing claims from vendors, but real results from production applications. When financial service companies move their API endpoints to edge functions, average response time dropped from 300 to 500 milliseconds to under 50 milliseconds globally. That's a massive improvement that completely changes user experience. E-commerce platforms using edge rendering have seen up to 40% increases in conversion rates, directly tied to faster page loads and more responsive interactions. Something particularly interesting is how edge computing benefits regions with historically slower internet infrastructure. Users in places like Southeast Asia, Africa, and South America see the biggest improvement because edge nodes bring computing resources closer to previously underserved areas. Media streaming companies have also used edge computing to cut buffering by 70%, while simultaneously reducing their bandwidth costs by processing and compressing video closer to viewers. These performance gains aren't just theoretical, they're directly improving business metrics across industries. One area where edge computing is making a big impact is marketing automation and customer engagement platforms. HighLevel, for example, has incorporated edge computing into their platform to deliver faster loading campaign pages and nearly instant form submissions. This matters because every millisecond counts when you're trying to convert a visitor to a lead. The most impressive implementation I've seen is how they're using Edge functions for real-time content personalization. Instead of sending all possible variations from a central server, they generate personalized content at the edge based on their attributes, location, and behavior. For marketers, this means creating highly personalized experiences without hurting performance. Imagine showing different offers based on a user's location with zero noticeable delay. What's valuable for a small business owner and marketers is that platforms like HighLevel handle all the technical complexity. You get the performance benefits of edge computing without needing to understand the infrastructure behind it. Looking ahead, we're seeing edge computing combined with other technologies like AI and IoT. Edge AI is particularly promising. Running machine learning models at edge locations enables real-time intelligence without the delay of calling back to central data centers. Though thinking about using edge computing in their projects, here are some practical things to consider. First, not everything works well at the edge. Resource-intensive operation or tasks needing access to large datasets might still work better in traditional cloud environments. The key is identifying user-facing components where speed matters most. Second, debugging can be trickier in distributed edge environments. Make sure your monitoring approach accounts for this distributed nature. Third, edge computing brings new security considerations. Your code runs in many more locations, potentially creating more attack vectors. Leading platforms have addressed this, but it requires thinking differently about security. Edge computing isn't just another small improvement in web development. It's a major shift that's changing performance expectations across the internet. Whether you're a developer, marketer, or business owner, understanding this technology will be important for staying competitive in 2025 and beyond. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, try to consider to hit that subscribe button for more honest tech insights. Leave a comment with your questions about edge computing or share your experiences implementing it. This is Ivan. I'll see you in the next video.